I have a share for you and for everybody that I think I'll share, because it was something that's extremely unusual for me. But today I was in the wildlife area all by myself, out in in the underbrush, and I started having a lot of negative thoughts about an imaginary person, a security guard from the middle school. Now, I've met several security guards from the middle school, and they seem very nice, all of them. One of them was actually kind of fun to hang out with for a few minutes, not too many weeks ago. But anyway, I've not had really any bad experiences with any security guards from the middle school, and yet here was this weird thing popping into my mind where I was kind of like actually obsessing about, somebody who doesn't exist, and being very angry and violent and just whole. I mean, and then I stopped and I said, wait a minute, what is going on here? And so Anna was talking about, feeling, and you were talking about thoughts generating, attracting. Right, attracting.
It's like what you put out can create the world, and people see you and what you really manifest. So I'd be very careful.
Right. Anna, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Weren't you talking about that?
Yeah, about
what you think generating reality?
That's right.
Isn't that sort of like what Napoleon Hill taught in Think and Grow Rich?
Yeah, I was listening to him a little bit today. Yeah, exactly. He was talking about that, the creative thinking process. That everything starts from there.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Well, that just isn't true. Like, you can't generate. I used to teach manifesting, and I never taught people to think about anything hoping that it would come because they thought about it. We on the same page?
Yeah.
And we're all major manifestors. We've done an awful lot of major manifesting, but we didn't do it by thinking things.
But it seems like the wrong thought expressed can unmanifest something, is what I meant to say.
No, I don't think so. But you manifest what you manifest.
Right.
I mean, obviously, look, let's put it this way. Let's say that you intend to manifest somebody giving you a large donation tomorrow. And it doesn't really matter what a large donation is. But let's say that you have a negative thought that, or a lot of negative thoughts. You're like swamped, engulfed, overwhelmed by negative thoughts. So you don't talk to anybody, nobody talks to you. And then the only person that you talk to is somebody who would really never give you any donation. But that's the only person you're willing to talk to. So obviously your thoughts have interfered with you, but they didn't. Your thoughts didn't interfere by pushing away. In other words, like you didn't have these negative thoughts and speak to 100 people and nobody gave you, you know, anything of any size. You just, you know, you didn't speak to anybody, so you didn't get any donations. You with me?
Uh-huh.
Anna, you're with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but just as far as, you know, like you want the market to go up, and you know, you're saying, you know, like you're thinking about the market going up, and and then you start thinking it's going to go down. It's not going to affect it. The market will just do whatever it's going to do. Do you understand?
Right.
So, however, see, I think that Napoleon Hill was really a very, very good teacher of spiritual matters, prosperity, and so on. Like, I'm a big fan, you know. But I don't think he quite meant that you would sit around. In fact, I was listening to one of his talks not too long ago, and he was saying, well, if you sit around thinking that you're going to attract a lot of wealth and you don't do anything, you're not going to attract any wealth. He said that about 10 times in a very short span of time. So I think that he was quite grounded in the whole concept of taking action to attract things.
Yeah, I think so too.
He also believed in having a brain trust, you know, a group of people, like, you know, a mastermind group, as he called it. And that mastermind, your mastermind group, would they would provide concepts and ideas and things that you needed to determine your actions.
Uh-huh.
So he was a very Napoleon Hill was a very big believer in just not going it alone. He did not believe in the lone hero who doesn't talk to anybody, and you know, he believed in, well, you know, one of the things that he said, like who? Andrew Carnegie was his mentor. And it is not commonly known that Andrew Carnegie knew absolutely nothing about making steel. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he knew absolutely zero about making steel. He just had people who knew how to make steel around him. You know, he hired experts. He put together a really class act. You know, I have to tell you a story. We had one of the first computer networks in existence. We started with computers in 1983.
Oh. If you call Alejandra, she wants to get in there, it is.
Okay, thank you, Barb. I will call her right now. Okay, so we started with computers in 1983. And I had several people who were very good with computers. There was one guy, David Rosenthal, who's still one of my Facebook friends, who was very, very savvy with computers and got us our first computers. Actually, we got our first computer right at the beginning of 1982, and then by the time '84 had rolled around, we had graduated to PCs. PCs were 1 megabyte back then. There was this gigantic CPU. Alejandra, are you there?
Yes, hello.
Hi, Alejandra, turn your camera on.
Okay.
So we had, and we put in one of the first networks on Earth in our company, and we had several places, several cities we were in, and we put networks in all of them. And I had designers for the courses. I was like Andrew Carnegie, you know. I didn't know anything about computers, but yet I had computers. And I didn't know anything about, about a lot of things. I knew a lot about designing courses, but I still didn't try to do it by myself. And you know, the thing that I like about like these meetings and the Cure team is that I'm not doing it by myself. And people, like Ron, I wanted to tell you something. I don't know, did you get my message I left you?
Yeah, thank you. It was a very nice message. Thank you.
And what I was saying to Ron, which I also said to you, and Greg, are you here? Can you hear me? I just want to make sure you can hear. Okay, you can hear. Okay, Barb.
I'm making a lot of noise here.
And Barb, you can hear, right?
Yes.
Yep, I can hear.
Well, what I was saying is that Ron, when you talked to me about how the world, you know, like people now know the world is round, and that was when I realized that no matter how catastrophically awful some guy is a, you know, child molester or, you know, a suicide bomber or whatever it is, it will make a difference for everyone on Earth to know they can cure things. Whether they ever do it or not, or are willing to learn how to do it or whatever. It will make a difference for every person on Earth. You framed that for me. I never framed it until you said what you said on Friday. Ron, I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Well, Ron, it doesn't seem like you have much to say about that wonderful laudatory speech about you. But I will tell you that this is why I have Cure Team meetings. And also, remember, I told you, I said, I think you'll be valuable on the Cure Team. And you don't seem to think that you're that valuable to the Cure Team most of the time.
I usually don't have a whole lot to say. When I share it when I do.
Yes, but I think you do have, you may not be saying a lot, but maybe you're perceiving a lot or conceptualizing a lot. And at some point, some of those things come out and they make a difference.
Okay.
So it was good, you know, that because I think my whole perspective on this shifted. Like, I would never abandon this effort now because I know the result is guaranteed as long as it happens. It has to happen. And I also know that there's somebody out there, there's a lot of people out there who could make it happen. I think that half the people who give those TED Talks could tip Cure into global consciousness if they knew they could cure things. But then there are other problems. Like, Barb, you know sometimes how we've talked about me coming to Santa Fe?
Yeah.
And I always keep saying, well, you know, the ally that we're looking for, there is surely somebody who could tip Cure in Santa Fe, or there's lots of people who could. But the problem is, for example, like, let's say that I made the effort and got to Santa Fe and, you know, you got me an appointment to talk to Jane Fonda, and I went there and she started testing, getting a signal, and she was like, okay, you know, I'm going to help you with this. And then you know, a few days later, I called her up and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I really can't do anything for you." And I go, "Well, what happened, you know?" And she says, "Well, you know, I'm a Christian and my minister told me if I work with you, I can't come to church anymore because you're the devil. And you're doing the devil's work." And, you know, so I really, you know, he was with me through a lot of hard times, and I really can't, you know, I'm loyal to him, and I mean, I know what you're doing is very good, and I wish you the best, but I'm sorry, but I can't help you. And this, you know, there's the potential for, see, we will see it all. This is the invasion of Normandy, and we are going to see it all, you know, in this effort that we make. It's all going to happen. And a lot of it already has. So we see people succeeding, and then, you know, like another thing, remember you were telling me that Jen was complaining that she had not cured her thyroid condition.
I don't remember her complaining, but...
Well, she was justifying, you know, walking away from this, remember?
No, not with that.
Oh, I thought I heard you...
No.
Okay. Because, you know, if you look at her subsequent actions, you can see why she didn't or hadn't at that point cured her thyroid condition, you know, because she had this whole, you know, this whole gigantic architecture of dysfunction beneath the surface that had to emerge and be dealt with, and as soon as it emerged, she decided to run away and didn't deal with it. So that was that, you know. But that's a lot of people. That's not like limited to this one anomaly. This is the rule rather than the norm. Like when you know, shrinks know this too. You know, I was just thinking, I don't know why, but I was flashing on an episode from The Sopranos. Has anybody ever watched The Sopranos?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you know, The Sopranos is about this mafia don who starts having panic attacks and goes to a shrink. And Barb, have you watched The Sopranos?
Me, no.
Well, anyway, that's what it's about. So a lot of the show is about his relationship with Dr. Mofty, this woman shrink who's also an Italian American. And there's one point where he's going, you know, nuts. And she says, you know, I think it's possible that, you know, all this manifestation of you being crazy really means we're getting somewhere in therapy. Because, you know, you're making progress because, you know, you're hitting this stuff and it's coming out and we're talking about it. So, of course, you know, a lot of people leave therapy at those points. Anyway, and I guess it's true with, you know, curing things too. And also people just, like, have you spoken to Gustagi recently, Barb?
Not in the last 3 or 4 days, no.
How was he 3 or 4 days ago?
He seemed fine. He was ready to go on a cross-country trip, cross-Europe trip.
See, that's the thing is that...
Rather than do an immersion.
Yeah, it's not that Gustagi is, you know, like running away from anything or whatever, or he hasn't hit pay dirt. It's nothing like that. He's just all over the place and he doesn't know what he wants. He's young. He's like, you know, he actually isn't actually capable of assessing what this is. And I also noticed that it seems to me like the people that stick around with this, doesn't it seem like all of us are a little bit older people? Like,
Except for Alejandra, maybe.
Alejandro's young. She's 35 again.
Yeah.
well,
I'm 25. Excuse me, 25.
no, Alejandra, your son is 25. You are of indeterminate age. But anyway, see, the thing is, like, we've done, like, I noticed when you started doing this, you had done a lot of other things, and you were obviously capable of assessing a result when you saw one, and realizing how important it is. You know, there's something, Barb, that you were... Oh, Barb, you're getting kind of dark there. Can you turn a light on? Barb? Got any lights? I still don't... Oh, I see a light coming on. Okay.
Yeah.
Also...
I hear you. Turn the light on. Hi.
Also,
Yeah.
you were saying that, you know, Jen was saying that she had done this whole series of things and walked away from them, and, you know, she could walk away from this just as easily, and she was asking you why you couldn't walk away from it. And when I was hearing you sort of repeating or paraphrasing what she said, it occurred to me that she absolutely had no conception of the difference between this and the things she mentioned. You know, that there, see, like, I think that the only people who really understand what they've got here are people who can see the difference. See, in my case, like, I did everything. I mean, I did primal, I mean, I was a shrink. I mean, I did, you know, all kinds of therapy. I did, you know, the workshops and the forum, which was EST at the time, and so on. And plus I had all these people who came to me and kind of, you know, gave me the gist of all these things that they had done, like thousands of people who I talked to. And they were, you know, and also a lot of them were still, they were hypnotherapists and did Traeger and Reiki and Pilates and, you know, you name it, they did it. And so, you know, I was at the time that I discovered this capable of recognizing what I had. Whereas most people aren't. Like, you know, they read the next, you know, blurb about something and it makes a lot of sense to them. And they go, wow, you know, this other thing looks really good, you know. Like people who, like your friend who does hypnotherapy. Barb, do you know who did hypnotherapy? Like one of the very first to do it?
No.
Sigmund Freud.
Interesting.
He abandoned it after around a year. He decided that it removed the patient's responsibility and therefore wasn't curative. And went on to found psychoanalysis. So, but some of his first big cures came from hypnotherapy. And also, he was using it to study the unconscious and then realized that he didn't really need to hypnotize people because they would get to the material in time. The thing that Fritz Perls said about Freud is that Freud never realized what he was doing was not actually a form of therapy. It was that psychoanalysis was not therapy. It was a research project. And you know, Perls used to cure people in minutes with some of his, he used to have people play both sides of the equation and they'd integrate like what the power that they pushed away from themselves. So, I find that it works just as well to like walk up to people in the street and offer them a bumper sticker. You know, you integrate your power when you do that.
Yeah.
It's like the, you know, the person, like what you were saying, Anna, you were talking about how Karen was talking about standing in your power.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know, you have to learn to do that. You know? Like when I first, I'll tell you this, I don't know if this would work for you actually, but when I first went out and handed out bumper stickers on the highway, when I actually first walked onto the median, I imaged Kevin Costner. Do you like Kevin Costner?
Sure.
Well, you know how Kevin Costner is always the anti-hero. He's never totally sure of himself. You know what I mean? He's like just there, being a person. He's ready to do whatever he has to do, but he's not completely sure of what that is or that he's going to win or anything, you know? He's uncertain. He's very uncertain. And I just imaged that, you know, and went over to cars and let them tell me what I needed to know rather than me trying to tell them. You know, I would just look at how they reacted to me as they looked at me.
Mhm.
Well, I've talked a bit more than I usually do, and so I think that now would be a good time for our very first set of prayers. Ron, how about it?
How about it? Okay, here we go.
All righty.
The continuous cleansing prayer is the all-level immunity prayer. The prayer isn't something you say, it is something you do.
Preach it!
When I get my signal, all my bodies are free of pathology.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
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 All my bodies are free of immune dysfunction.
Yes.
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 All my bodies are at full function.
Yes.
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 I've installed all necessary immunological shields.
Yes.
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 All my God connectors are in.
Yes.
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 I'm installing the reflex to give love and empowerment.
Yes.
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 I am attracting warm, happy feelings in others.
Yes.
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 Now merge your results bodies with people you choose. Remove and install the right factors.
Yes.
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 I am on the best side of my highest possible dimension.
Yes.
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 I am removing all disturbances from the emotional bodies of everyone in the world.
Yes.
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 I am protecting myself and my people from incipient catastrophes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I'm removing all tendencies in the world to solve problems with violence.
Yes.
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 Yes. I'm realizing the loving, world-shaping, and God-given intentions I've carried from life to life.
Yes.
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 I am causing my career and those of the people I love to be what God intends.
Yes.
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 I am attracting increased capacity in myself and my group to accept power infusion.
Yes.
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 My particle attributes are in balance and at full strength to succeed at God's work.
Yes.
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 All my bodies are in God.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All my bodies are one rainbow.
Yes.
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 I am free.
Yes.
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 I am now as happy as I have ever been.
Yes.
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 That concludes the continuous cleansing prayer.
Thanks, Ron. Thank you. Does anyone have anything they want to say? Well, that's...
I'll just give a real quick thing. I was at work today, and I just took care of, did some service for one of the members, did my job. And he was not, for some reason, happy with what I did.
No.
So it was interesting because it was like, he was kind of dismissive of me, and I was kind of, as he was walking away from me, I was kind of pissed, and, first I got angry, and then I just tried to see what was going on, saying, you know what, I don't think it's about me and what I did. I didn't really believe that. I think there was something else going on inside him. I didn't really, you know what, I could have tested for it, but it was just a feeling I had. So I redid the service for him, I took care of, something for him. And, saw him later on. And he noticed that I had taken care of something again for him, and he just acknowledged it, and he was happy, and that was it. He went on his way. And I was like, I could have been argumentative about it and said, look, I took care of this, and what's wrong, or I just did it. I just redid it, and noticed that he had noticed it, and that was it. It was just gone. But I still felt like it wasn't about what I did for him, minimally.
Right.
So it was interesting just to observe the whole thing and said, I don't really quite know how to explain it, except that it was interesting just to see the whole thing unfold, Well,
like
I could see 2 or 3 different results, had I gone this way or that way with it. But it just kind of I just kind of saw it, and then I kind of relaxed with it. And I said, okay, let it go. Let it go. Just do what you normally do anyway. Just redo it, and let it go. And it worked out actually much better that way. It kind of diffused whatever possible confrontation or bad feeling was in the air. It just kind of hissed away. It was just gone.
Well, you gave the person what he wanted.
I did, but it was like in my mind, I had taken care of it initially,
But see, you were wanting something from him, like you wanted him to, know that you had done it, already, and that it was good, what you'd done was good. And you let go of wanting what you wanted and gave him what he wanted.
Bottom line, that was true.
And I think that was a very, very spiritual and selfless action on your part, and one that is very health-giving, health-producing for you. You know, you really came from love.
Yeah, it was about, I guess, letting go of any kind of resistance I had, you know?
Yeah, love isn't about getting something from people. It's just about making them happy.
I mean, to me it was like, wait a minute, but it wasn't like a big difference between one and the other, but I guess there was, to somebody else, not to me.
Well, it didn't matter. Had he turned it around and told you that you had done a good job, it really wouldn't matter. What matters is what you gave him. That really did matter. And you know, you don't have to give people a good lesson. Sometimes you can just give them what they want.
Yeah.
You know, now that I'm saying this, I'm thinking about like something that Franny asked me earlier, and I didn't give it to her. Franny was saying, "Well, you didn't give me what I wanted. You don't care about me." And you know, I think, you know, Bono, that maybe I could have done well to give you what you wanted now. Now that I'm saying all this from the pulpit.
Well, I always tell you that you're going to realize it later, but in the throes of the moment, you were unable to observe yourself.
Well, you let go of your feelings of self-righteousness and created a feeling of just emptiness, which was very good.
Yeah.
You freed yourself. Does anybody else want to say anything?
Well, I'm glad you admitted it, Byron, because I try not to argue with you, but it's difficult. And when you admit something like that, or just acknowledge it, it's kind of like, I guess, the guy acknowledging that maybe he was a little harsh with Ross.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It would be easier. It's usually easier for the other guy to acknowledge something when you've not made something out of it. It just becomes a glaring thing on his part. And you just give him what he wants. He says, "Oh well, thank you. I was very harsh on you." He didn't do that, but it makes it easier.
Yeah.
I had a thought about something you were saying earlier about tipping, and you know, there seems to be different kinds of people, like those of us that are here. Either, you know, I think of you guys as my brain trust for whatever reason, or my mastermind group, or we're still after something for ourselves, or we think we want to help. And there's people who have gotten something and they're running with it, or people who think they've gotten something and they're going till they get a wall and they come back. It seems to me that Byron, you are like the only one who really knows what this is. You know, like all of us have our ideas of what it is, or, you know, our pieces of it, or do it our own way. But then there's always like another level to get to, and like it seems like you're the only one that knows all these different, you know, levels. So it's like you're the only one that could really chip it. That's what it feels like. It's my thinking. Like it's still kind of a mystery to some of us, enough to like hang on because it seems mysterious and interesting. But I can't kind of get my hands around it enough to. It's like you know, to like transfer it to, you know, in a really easy way to other people, so that they take it to themselves. And there seems to be a difference between what's on the hub and all the things that a person works on themselves, and then just like your typical removing something when it comes up.
Yeah, that's when you remove things when they come up, that's putting out fires, and what you need to be doing is proactively digging in and removing things. You know, like going to the hub, finding things that are wrong with you, and methodically curing them before you need to, before the emergency moment comes.
Yeah.
You know, what you were saying about how I'm the only one who understands it reminded me of something from Sun Tzu. That, Anna, have you ever read Sun Tzu?
No, I don't think so. No.
Well, you know, there's a very good audio. Right, you could write this down, okay, on your growing list of things to pursue. There's a Franny's laughing out there in the in the bedroom, I hear. But anyway, there you want the Griffith translation.
Oh yeah, I know him. I think.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the translation you want. I think his name was Griffith. And that translation is out in audio. So you can get the audio.
Okay.
And listen to it. And probably download it, you know, to your smartphone, you know, possibly using the Kindle app. You know, there's a Kindle app for these phones that you and I have. I've discovered that Anna and Greg and I have the same kind of phone, except hers is the one before it. She's the 3G. And we're the 4Gs.
Well, the iPhones have a Kindle app also. I have that.
That's right. Anyway, I'll just tell you this. I'll try to paraphrase this. That the Marquis is in conference with his generals, and after the conference, one of his key advisors takes the Marquis aside, and he says, "It looks like we're going to win this thing, you know, because you were brilliant in there. You were amazing. Like none of the generals could come anywhere near you in their understanding of this. So we are probably in a good position to win." And the Marquis said to him, "Are you kidding?" He said, "I'm terrified," he said, of this situation. He said, "If I'm the smartest person in the room, we're in serious trouble." And that is what I have to say to Barb in response to the what your assessment of me, which is, or yourselves, which is, we are in serious trouble, because I think you're right. You know, I think at this point, and that's why, you know, when Greg, last Friday when you were in the meeting and at the beginning you said, you know, I was saying that people stay stuck in this, and you said, or they don't. And what you were doing was bringing up actually a very critical point, which is people don't know why this is so important. Because they say, well, I've cleared things before, you know, I'll do it again, you know, I don't need this, and so on. And this brought me to this thing that I was thinking about today. Which is that, let me just tell you a little story. Okay, Joel Osteen. Oh yes, this is the story I wanted to tell you. No, it isn't. No, actually, Anna, it isn't, but this is another one about Joel Osteen. But it's not the one I was planning on telling you. Anna, you hear me, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. All right. So Joel Osteen was telling a story about how his mother was given 6 months to live. She had terminal cancer. And she went around the house. He heard her walking around the house talking to Jesus and saying, you know, I know you're not going to take me. It isn't my time. You know, you want me to stay here. You know, I'm not going to die in 6 months. And, you know, take this cancer from me. And the cancer disappeared, and 6 months, you know, like 12 years later, she was in the the meeting when he was telling this story. She was sitting in the front row. And so obviously people cure things by these methods. And so the question is, so that being the case, why in the world would I be doing this? And this is why people say, well, this has got to be the work of the, like Christians say, this has got to be the work of the devil, trying to entice us away from Christianity when, Jesus cures things. But maybe we should all test this question when, does Jesus cure things? Anybody get a signal on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Has Jesus ever cured me, meaning you, of anything?
I get, yeah.
Yeah.
And did that happen when I was testing?
Yeah.
And Anna, what'd you get?
I got no.
Greg?
I got, no.
What about, Barb, what'd you get?
I got that I was, yes, that there was, Jesus was with me when I was getting signals and testing.
And so forth, okay. Why don't we test, do any of my answers when I get signals ever come from Jesus or the Christ consciousness or whatever,
Yeah, the Christ consciousness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
So see, actually, what we've really got here is just something a little more dependable than walking around the house yelling at Jesus, because though it worked for Joel Osteen's mother, I think there are a lot of people who did that and then they died because they, didn't have like a whole house full of people of Joel Osteen's caliber with them, who I would say he'd probably be a very good member of a mastermind group. Wouldn't you, Anna?
Yeah.
Like if you were wanting to cure something, you couldn't do any better than moving in with Joel Osteen,
Well, maybe they just didn't yell, by the power of Jesus, heal me, which I do.
Franny sometimes cures things like that. She goes, by the power of Jesus, I am healed, Oh, God. So, but the point is that, like when we first started doing this, we went through what we're trying to do is produce what I call an immunic response. And there have been millions of people doing that in millions of ways. So I think what we've got here, it's not so much that what we do is like the very first computer on Earth. What we do is more like maybe a very sophisticated smartphone. Does everybody get the connection?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that no matter how much difficulty people have doing this to begin with, the fact is that if it was common knowledge, it would be very, very easy for those same people to get started. I know that's not very easy to picture, is it? Anna, is that very easy to picture?
Well, for me, I think it's a great.
Huh?
It's a great tool that you could use all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, like when you watch people like struggling to, like this woman who you were talking to. What's her name?
Yeah. I think it's Lina.
Okay, so let's take Lina. Look at all the problems Lina has getting started.
Oh, she just mentioned that she was nervous about her family and friends seeing her.
Yeah, look at all the problems she's having getting started.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like almost impossible for her to get started. So what I'm saying is that if this was common knowledge, it would be very easy for her to get started.
Right.
Can you picture that?
Yeah, I can.
You can see the difference.
Right. Uh-huh.
Like the obstacles that she faces simply wouldn't exist.
Right. That's true.
So right now, let's all tweet something about this.
Okay.
About anything you want that's been said up to this point. Anything at all. You can go back to the very beginning and look at things and tweet about them. And I'm going to allow 5 minutes to send. You can send a few tweets, like whatever you want to say. So, but do get on top of it and start tweeting, guys. I tell you, I don't know who gets something out of these tweets beside me, but I learn all about you by reading your tweets. There were some pretty indicative ones from last Friday's meeting, and I will say that after the meeting, when I read the tweets, I was very impressed with everybody. And I feel a lot more like going ahead as I become more and more impressed, you know. You know, another thing about the tweets is, like, I don't think, Anna, that I would know you as well as I do now had I not been interacting about these, especially these last few tweets about thoughts creating things and deciding to do things and whether or not you can, you know, like, you change your life by making decisions and so on. And I realized, like, that your heart is in the right place. See, that's when I was able to call you today, and I told you you simply need more exposure. Like, you need to listen to somebody else, like Tony Robbins, because you've been listening to, you know, some things and not others. And even the stuff on our web college, it's not... there's not a broad enough spectrum just with that. When I created the web college, I never expected people to use it exclusively. I expected them to use the web college and Tony Robbins and, you know, the TED lectures and, you know, a bajillion other things. Not just one thing.
Right.
And I didn't realize that most of them wouldn't use anything. They wouldn't use the web college or any of the other things either. Or else they would just focus on a few things that they really love. I think that most people have a tendency to stumble on, like, some, you know, New Age pundit, for example, and then they say, I found it, you know, this is it, you know, this guy has wisdom, I'm his follower, and that's who they listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And it never works. You know, the guy can be great and it never works. It wouldn't work with Tony Robbins. You got to have me. And it wouldn't work just with me. You got to have Malcolm Gladwell. Now, so far, I don't see any tweets. New ones, I mean. So, let me... I mean, I'll tell you when they start to roll in here, guys. Don't see any. Don't see any. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, here comes some. Okay. You know, I just figured out how to use my smartphone. That's what I had to do. I like what Barb said. And by the way, Alejandra, can you hear me, Alejandra?
Yes?
Alejandra, you cured a flu before this, didn't you?
Morning, yes.
You should tweet about that.
I did.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, that's how I found out about it. Come to think of it.
I was so bad this morning and fever and all that thing.
Come
and
to think of
the
it.
moment I feel good actually.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was happy about it. Because I didn't pretend to stay in bed all day.
Great. You did good.
Thank you.
Okay. Here we go. Byard, do you want to see how that swiping looks?
No, it's okay. I should
Okay.
start. But maybe I'll call you and see it. Did you do a tweet with it?
Yeah, I always do. Yeah, I mean, it's really quick to just move your finger across the letters. But yeah, I did tweet one just now.
Well, well, I won't have a look at it and be impressed. Without action, comma, you don't feel good for long. Without action, comma, you don't feel good for long, period. Are you guys still tweeting?
I'm contemplating a tweet.
Let's try another one.
Because I don't see any more. I see basically kind of one apiece here. They were all good though. I retweeted them. So they're on the home page of our web college now, these tweets. Just so you know. Okay.
We are seeing, that's good.
I think, Ron?
Yes.
I think that Franny got a lot out of your story.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know how he could discern that, but. But actually, when Greg was talking about it, it was kind of hard. My mind was going crazy because it wasn't straight. Like the thing that happened to us wasn't as simple as what happened to you. But
Well, that's true.
my mind was saying, "Well, gee, then who's the person? Who's the person? This disgruntled person? Who's the person being loving? I don't know." I think we were both parts at different moments. That's probably the truth. Well, see, I always got ahead in business, let's say, by doing my job really well. And I didn't worry too much about the money or appreciation or anything. I just did my job, and usually it produced much appreciation and raises and money and jobs and everything. So that's always the best policy, besides being enlightened enough to be loving.
Yeah.
Well, see, there's something that's interesting, you know. When you talk about being loving, you're talking about taking a loving action. So you're back to action.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like suppose you're having negative thoughts, but you take a loving action. What are you going to manifest? Anna?
Yeah, I was just reading, I like what Greg said, it is in actions that we are seen.
True.
It's good.
Are you on the A list?
Who's that, me or Greg?
You.
Are you
I think so.
You reading Greg from the A list? Did you
Oh, no, from his tweet.
Did you notice that I wrote something with his tweet? I quoted his tweet in a tweet of mine.
Get that. It's fine.
Greg, did you notice that I quoted your tweet?
I heard you.
Heard?
And let's see what you actually wrote. I heard it. I mean, where is it? I don't see it here. Why is it not there?
this smartphone app allows you to quote people's tweets, and so you can actually have like these interactions in these tweets where you use part of their tweet and say something about it, and you can go back and forth like that. It's kind of...
I don't see it. I thought on these smartphones, if you just pull down on the tweets with your finger, it shows the latest tweets coming through.
That's right.
You just keep pulling it down, it'll say loading, and then it usually loads whatever is the newest things coming in.
That's right.
It's harder to do it on the regular computer.
You know, you want to distinguish between what really is an action. Like, Ron could be thinking about this guy, but he actually did something towards the guy. It was an action there. It was an action of just loving and accepting and understanding.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about this guy. Should I say something? No, I'm not going to say anything. There was actually something that transpired.
But I don't think that's an action. I think the action he took was a result of his it's like looking at himself and letting go. So looking at himself wasn't the action, but it's an important part of getting through the whole thing, taking the action.
Right.
Well, sometimes don't they talk about that as being like bearing witness? Sort of like where you step back and you like he sort of stepped back and watched the experience.
Yeah.
In a sense, like he didn't get into, he sort of stepped it to a different level. Like a higher level, he looked at it.
Sure.
Okay, is that bearing witness? Is that what you call
I
it?
think so. Yeah.
Right.
A step out of the scene. And you sort of look at it from a higher level, or like a peaceful perspective. You don't get caught up in the drama of the emotion.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is training people to produce an immunic response anywhere, anytime, very dependably, and all other things being equal, to cure whatever it is 100% of the time. Like Alejandro. Oh, Alejandro's gone. Oh no. Shoot. Well. I was just going to ask her how many times she's cured the flu, but I know it's a series of times because I have one of them in the movie of her curing the flu.
There she is.
Coming back.
Well, I'm calling her, so we'll see. Yeah, I have one of her in the movie. So, it's very dependable. Oh, there you are, Alejandra.
Sorry.
I was just saying that, see, what we're trying to do is train people to do something that they can do and in 5 minutes be well. Like like you cured the flu today.
Mm-hmm.
And you also cured the flu in the movie. And have you cured the flu every time you started to get it?
Yes, every time I get the symptoms, I have to remove right away. I don't want to keep it with me.
So 100% effective. Also,
yes, he's working very well. Nothing.
that's right. Also, I don't think that hypnotherapists actually claim to ever train anybody to be able to cure the flu at all. Or, you know, and neither do Reiki masters or anybody else, you know, it's just, or EFT or whatever, because they know that they can't do that. I mean, it doesn't do that. And I think that, like, Franny's sister says that she cures the flu with EFT. And the thing is that what Franny notices is that she's still got the flu the next day. She doesn't cure it. Is that accurate, Bono?
Well, I don't, yeah, I mean, sort of. I mean, basically, every time she has a flu or a cold, I say, well, you want to cure it with, you want to try curing it with this. And so I start to show her how it works. And then she said, well, I could do this faster with EFT. So I don't actually know if she does, but I said, well, are you going to do that? She said, yes. But then she does it, and she still has the flu. So
That's a likely story. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take that long. It takes a lot less time to do this than it does to do EFT.
Right.
I'm sorry, I've got alarm out in the hallway. Let me put on mute.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Well, this is good. We will, and I think that the thing is that the people that we're talking about simply don't know what this is. Even though they've done it, succeeded with it, cured something, gotten a signal, gotten the good feeling, I think people relate to the good feeling that way too. Like they get the good feeling, but then they don't really care about it or want to get it again. They don't know why it matters. Like they want things. People want things. Like, you know, they want their kid to stop getting tattoos. And so if they remove something and they feel good, they don't appreciate that. And they keep thinking, yeah, but my kid is still getting tattoos, you know, and it's like, you know, and they go right back into feeling bad because their ideas are that if they feel bad enough, their kid will stop getting tattoos. Like, a lot of bad feeling is simply a kind of magical behavior. People try to affect, you know, Anna, what you were saying about how, you know, like if you decide you're going to do something, then, you know, then you'll attract good things. Mm-hmm. And you'll be in a new place. But actually, you won't necessarily attract anything or be in any new place. You'll just be where you were, attracting what you were always attracting with your decision made. Get the idea?
Yeah.
Like it won't have any effect on anything. What you decide doesn't have any effect on anything. What you do affects things.
Right.
Action is the expression of choice. Thought is not necessarily the expression of anything. It's just thought. But thought is often a kind of magical behavior. People try to feel good, you know, so that magically they will attract things to them that they want, and then they can still continue acting dysfunctionally and get all the things they want. Get the idea?
Yeah.
So, but also people feel bad for the same reason. People generate bad feelings, you know, because they think they're going to attract what they want with bad feelings. Do you understand? I'm talking to Anna, actually.
Yeah, so they think they're going to attract what they want with bad feelings.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So it's a pattern that is repetitive.
Why would somebody get angry at his child for getting tattoos?
Yeah.
Why would he answer the actually answer the question?
Okay. So, well, yeah, I guess he thinks that if he gets angry at the child, that the child will stop it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It will magically go away.
What, the tattoo?
Yeah.
It's a kind of magical behavior. It's what Jean-Paul Sartre created what he called existential psychoanalysis.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it was about. What I'm talking about here. Like, people don't understand why they have emotions. They think that they have emotions because that's the way they feel. But actually, they have emotions because they're trying to do something with the emotion. They're trying to manipulate reality with the emotion.
I remember that Esther Hicks, you know, the woman that channeled, she said that emotions are guidance. They tell you if you're going in the right direction or not. So if you're feeling a positive emotion, you're going in a good direction.
I think that there are certain, like,
You mean a drug addict because he feels good taking the drug and going in the right direction? Well, okay.
I think there is a certain kind of, you know, set of emotions that's true of. Like, you know what Tony Robbins was saying about happiness? Or no, wait a minute, was it, you know, the four kinds of, you know, the four things that cause happiness that we talked about in one of our meetings?
Yeah.
What are they?
Oh, I was looking for them today.
What
And I
are
saw them, and I couldn't find them on the tweet, so.
what are the four things?
Oh, I kind of forgot.
What's one of them?
Gosh. How about right action?
Well, how would you tell whether it's right? See, that's the
Mm.
$64 question.
I forgot what they were.
You can't even think of one of them.
Are you still asking Alan?
Yeah, she can't think of any. But Bono, can you think of one?
Well, I'm reading it right here.
Oh, don't read it. Barb, can you think of what the four things are that cause happiness? Or any of them?
Like acknowledgement, like positive feedback from others.
Actually, no. That's the thing that is killing you. That's you're dependent on that kind of external thing for.
But I think you may be saying gratitude in the
Well,
opposite
the other
way.
thing, our article said that people in a job, they say that people would rather be told that they did a good job than actually get more money even. It makes them more satisfied. I don't think it was the same study, but they said that when interviewed that kind of feedback was more important than a higher salary to many people. Not to me, but to others. I don't know, I'm just happy when I feel good, so I don't really know whether I'm getting positive feedback or not. I feel better. I feel better physically than I did. So I don't know the answer. I don't know what the study you're talking about.
Can you even remember one of the four things?
No, a positive forward thought.
Which one?
A positive forward thought. Or positive forward thinking.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Seeing,
That's right.
seeing your, like having a plan or seeing your goal is how to get to your goals. An action plan. Love.
Well, the way you wrote this out, it looks like 6 of them. But anyway.
Well, one of them is forward progress.
Yeah, forward progress.
Yeah.
And another one is knowing you're happy. But as far as your Hicks person, happiness can be a signal that you're going in the right direction. She may have been referring to happiness as an emotion, but it isn't.
It isn't?
No, emotions are things like
Sad, angry.
or also, infatuation or elation or...
But not happiness? Happy?
Happiness is different. I'm not sure how I can... Well, when the good feeling that you get when you cure something, that's happiness. It can be generally a feeling of being empty. It's not actually an emotion. Like excitement is an emotion and so on.
Okay. Well, I've heard people say... Go ahead.
Barb, did you want to say something?
So from now on, you have to say, I am happy. You don't say, I feel happy. You say, I am happy.
Yes, it's a state. It's not a feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, happiness is a state of being. It's
a little boat upon the ocean.
It actually can be an absence of anything, any illness, or just the absence of one particular illness.
Yeah.
But this Hicks person may have been. That's what she may have been talking about. So maybe she was dead on. But frankly, the thing that gets you excited might be the thing that lures you down into a path of like destruction and death. Or when you fall in love or are infatuated, that may be the gateway to struggle and suffering. And not at all. And also it may be a retro kind of action where you're going in the absolute wrong direction.
Okay. That's why that forward thinking is important.
Call me back!
Call Franny back.
Oh.
She could call in.
I can't do that, Bono. It's almost the end of the meeting. Why don't you come in here and listen from here? Okay, she can hear us, and we're going to say the prayers in a moment, so I'm not going to call her back.
Okay.
Anna, it seems to me that I'm not totally sure that you're actually like getting this stuff,
Yeah, it's I'm trying to let it sink in.
But I'm not really sure that it can sink in, because it may not. You may not be. I mean, are you cognating it?
Am I cognating it?
Like, is anything falling into place for you? Not really, right?
Well, the action piece is the good one for me to really focus on.
But as far as the things like when you're feeling a positive emotion, that means you're going in the right direction. And I'm saying no, it could just mean that you're nuts. And does that ring true for you? Are you going, oh yeah, you know, God, I always knew she was wrong. Is there anything clicking in your mind like that about like Hicks? You know, you go, oh, I misinterpreted her. Now I see it. Now I understand. You know, is anything like that?
Okay, it's not quite clicking yet, but I'm trying to take in the different ways that you're explaining it.
So, but I mean, like when you think about what she said and you go, oh my God, I never understood her, so that's what she meant, you know, or something like that. Is there nothing like that is happening, right?
Not yet, no.
So there's no forward progress. So you're not happy. Do you feel happy?
Yeah, feel good.
Are you sure that you're feeling happy?
I'm sure.
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of clearing, so I'm feeling really good.
Okay. Obviously, you have to keep curing things in order for any of these things to work, but some of them have a curative effect, like making forward progress has a curative effect. The problem is, I'm sure you know and have heard the story 1,000 times, this person's business is on the verge of taking off, right? He's got to have a big, big breakthrough in his business. And all of a sudden, guess what? Routine check at the doctor's, he's got maybe 2 years to live. You know, inoperable pancreatic cancer, sorry.
Right.
You know, and the treatments are going to take all the money that he was going to use to expand his business. He can't do it. It's going to bankrupt his family. And here he was feeling so good. He had all this forward progress. He was going in the right direction. I mean, you've heard that story before, right?
Right.
Yeah, sure. Or the guy's going into the celebration for his big promotion. He's driving into the office and feels himself getting the flu. Doesn't it always happen?
Yeah.
Like you were just going away for Memorial Day weekend with your family. It was going to be this great weekend, you know, and bingo, now you got the flu.
So why is that?
Because, you know, forward progress may be curative, but maybe it isn't curative enough. Get the drift on that? Yeah,
I do.
So is this stuff like, is it coming together in your mind? You go, oh yes, now I understand. I see it now.
So far what you've explained, yeah, that's coming together. So I'm just wondering what the other pieces are then. So if that isn't, you know, so is it the other parts of what the definition of happiness is then that play into where you're going with this?
Well, the things that cause happiness, like, you know, another one is doing things that you really feel are important. Like, I'm generally happy because I spend all day doing something that I feel is of critical importance for me and everybody on Earth. So I'm generally pretty happy. You know, I'm not working in a convenience store or making somebody's beds, you know, to make ends meet so that I can do this thing I'm doing. I do it all the time. So I'm generally happy. Now, probably, given my nature, okay, let's say I didn't have any money, so I had to go do something for money. Number one, I would probably very quickly find something that brought in a lot of money, because I always do. All my life, I have always known how to bring in money, you know, when I needed to. Like with this bumper sticker thing, you know, like we brought in a ton of money with it. Like had we wanted it, or let me put it another way, had we needed to support ourselves, we could have supported ourselves handsomely. Franny and Greg and I by just taking turns going out and handing out bumper stickers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Keeping that going, and we could have taken in, $5,000 a month probably with it. But we didn't need to do that. But that's it's just an example, okay?
Right.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be difficult, but I am saying the other thing is that I would also figure out a way to bring that money in while doing this. So I wouldn't have to take time off from doing this. I could do it by handing out bumper stickers, or I wouldn't have to take time off from doing this because I would, I don't know, do some other thing that, or even, take some job and just do this with the people I worked with. Like, I think that Ron stays pretty happy because his job is not related to this, but you do this at your job, right? Oh, you're on mute, Ron.
Yeah, when I can.
Yeah, you help people cure things at your job.
Yeah.
And that must be really, like you must feel very special and have a real sense of accomplishment from doing that.
Yeah, feels pretty good.
Yeah. So...
The thing is, like what you were saying though, they don't understand. It's like, they don't come back to me and say, "This is great. Show me how to do this."
Yeah, right.
It's like they feel better, and that's all they know. They know they feel better.
Yeah, that is exactly why it has to be on TV, because if it was on TV, people would do that, and they'd be in continuous exposure. So, every so often something would come up and they'd say, "Gee, I wonder if I could do it with this," and at some point they'd be doing it all the time. And they would really substantially extend their lives, and then they would stand up for it and do all the other things that people who really care about it do. But they need that continuous exposure. It's not good enough to put it in movies on the internet that people choose to click on. It really needs to be in, like, dramas, cop shows on TV where the cops test whether somebody's guilty, and so it becomes part of the plot of the cop show, the CSI Miami, And, so people are just always, it's always in their face, and they start to say, "Gee, I wonder if I could find out about my such and such with," and, they start doing it, and they feel good, and then they go, "Well, I didn't find out what I wanted to know, but I did accomplish this other thing." So that would create forward progress, make them happy, and then they would, do more, and so on. But without that, it just dies, No matter how many people we show it to or what we do, it peters out. It always peters out. Every so often we hit a good person. And that's all we can do. And the other thing we can do is ask these people who are not going to, get all they can from it. They're just not. We can ask them to support us. We can ask them to give me some money now. May I have some money? Please give me some money. It's like what the Buddhists used to do. Like they would wander into a town and they would walk up to a door and they'd ask for rice, they'd beg. Meher Baba took his disciples, many of whom were multi-millionaires. And, Elizabeth Patterson was the first woman member of the New York Stock Exchange. And he had her walking through India, walking up to, doors of these huts where like these very, very poor people live, and asking them to feed Meher Baba and his disciples. "Will you please give us some food?" And he had his disciples beg, and because he knew that's how you learn, that's how you experience this stuff. Well, I wouldn't have run this overtime if it hadn't been that we're all, seasoned cohorts here. But I think we should really get on with it, and we can either stop or say the noosphere prayer. Actually, what we should do, if you need to leave, go ahead. But let's say the noosphere prayer now, if Ron, if you could stay to do that.
Yeah, I can do that, then I gotta roll.
Okay, very good. There'll be nothing else after that.
Okay, kids. Noosphere, the global healing prayers. The prayer isn't something you say, it's something you do. When I get my signal, I am raising the noosphere to the 27th dimension. Yes.
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 Yeah.
I am removing all pathologies from the noosphere.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 I am adjusting the particle indexes of the noosphere so that they are in balance and at full strength.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 I am adjusting the meridians of the noosphere to create a free and balanced energy flow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
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 I am adjusting the chakras of the noosphere to be at full function.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The noosphere is unswitched and headed in God's direction.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Yes. I am removing all impressions from the karmic body of the noosphere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
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 I am removing terrorism from the gravitational and spiral bodies of the noosphere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
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 I am removing the tendency to use biological weapons from the gravitational and spiral bodies of the noosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I am merging my higher bodies with others who understand what we're doing.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
I'm removing any predisposition in the noosphere toward disease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
All the bodies of the noosphere are one rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 I am now asking the forgiveness of everyone I've ever harmed or will harm by not making immunics available to them faster.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. They've heard and received my request in their results body.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 They have forgiven me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Doing this helps them discover immunics for themselves without me needing to be better in order to give it to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 That's it.
Yay! All right, everybody, in conclusion, let's all go to the 144th dimension.
Okay.
And I wish you all a good night. See the home page of curedrive.org, which is the Cure College on the web that we have put here for you to come learn how to cure medically incurable diseases. Now, at the top of the page, the home page, which you should be on right here, and I want to recommend, if you have not already, get to this page by opening a tab. Do not turn this movie off. Open a tab so that you can still hear me talking. And leave this tab open and then go to this website. Now the tally that you see, 132K, people ask, where does that come from? And if you notice, right above it, and this is, by the way, on every page in the web college, it says Report Cure. If I click on that, it goes to a page where there's a little form to fill out where you can report your cures. Now I will press the incredible back button and go back to the home page of curedrive.org. And also, if you want to contact us, there's a little link here that says Contact. And you'll notice that we put our phone numbers in here. We feel more comfortable being called on the phone. So it's just easier to talk, and this is a very big subject, and we find that it saves us time and work if people call us. Now we document our cures. This movie that you're watching here is an example of that. This is a movie where people cure things on camera, and you watch them. You watch them curing things. For example, the woman here at this point in the movie is curing a flu. And if you watch this movie, you'll discover that she comes in with fully developed flu symptoms, including headache and God knows what else, and the symptoms disappear in around 20 minutes. That's how fast this is. Personally, I have not had a flu even try to come on since 1993, when I cured my herpes. My 20th anniversary, by the way, just passed. 20th anniversary of my herpes cure in April of 2013. Okay, if you look again above the Cure Drive, logo, I guess it is, and what you'll see is the Cure Show. There's a link to go to the Cure Show. And the Cure Shows are another way that we documented our cures. And for example, you'll find letters at the top of the Cure Show, and if you click the letter F, it takes you to fibromyalgia, where you see a lot of, or 2 people curing fibromyalgia actually. And underneath it, there are many, many shows on flu. We had a flu hotline. And what you'll find with this is that people with similar conditions get parallel results. Like these people who cured their flu, or I don't think we ever had a person come in to cure the flu that, was just getting it. They all had it for a couple of days. There they are. And you hear their flu cure during the call in around 20 minutes. So there are about 100 diseases represented on this page. Acid reflux, abuse. There are, conditions can be considered diseases also. Such as traumatic stress syndrome from 9/11, the World Trade Center attack. A woman actually cured her traumatic stress syndrome from that. So now if we're back on the home page again, and up here at the top it says login hub and or sign up. If you don't have a password, you can sign up, or you can log in, and you come to the hub of the Cure College. This is the hub, not the home page. And new people who come here, many people just come in and get a password right away. They instantly get a password and come in, and they say, "What is this?" It's gigantic. Over here, this is the basic skill. Skill 1 is cure physical diseases. And it has 10 applications. Remove viruses, cure cancer, end trauma, recode your DNA. With certain diseases, you must recode your DNA to cure the disease. This may be true, for example, of viral-based diseases such as herpes simplex, Epstein-Barr, and so on. And each one has 2 links underneath it. Now if I click on where it says lessons under Recode Your DNA, and these are the lessons. There's this huge page of lessons on recoding DNA. And one of the lessons is remove adverse DNA mutations you catch from other people. Bet you didn't know you were doing that. But you do, and here's the lesson on that, and then you scroll down and there's all these questions. That's how the lessons work. You probably, if this is the first movie you've ever watched, you are probably not ready for a password right now. But you should probably know this is here at the same time, and some things about it. For example, here's an application of Skill 1, which is, what is Skill 1, do you recall? Cure physical diseases, right? And it's called the safety web. See it? Right here, the safety web. If I click on that, what I come to is a page of lessons about, and there's quite a few lessons on this page, about the safety web. Now basically, it's very simple. God isn't going to let you fail. A woman asked me, I was telling her to remove all bacteria from her physical body. And she said, well, if I remove all bacteria from my physical body, will I remove my beneficial intestinal bacteria? And I said, no. You're not going to remove your beneficial intestinal bacteria. You're going to, God won't let you do that. You're safe. However, there's more to the safety web than that. So you'd want to know about the safety web. Also, there's an application called Knowingness is Power. Most people ignore it. The reason it's here is because knowingness is curative. A lot of times things that you cure happen just because you know something. Now, curing physical diseases is the lowest level of study in this web college. For example, here, which is in the mid-level, there's a skill called 3 spiritual diseases. Do you see it? That's only skill 9. There are 12 skills. So another one is about function. Reinstall your functions. Another one is about reclaiming your immune system so that you can be immune to these things and you won't have to cure cancer or herpes. You won't not get it. As I said before, have not had a flu in 20 years. I haven't had a flu even try to come on in the last 20 years. Okay. If you're not ready for a password yet, and by the way, when you're new, you're probably better off with one of these options. These are the best options for new people, which are next to the movie. And that's when you want to start and you're ready. You're ready. You've like learned it and you understand how to do it. What you probably want to start getting a signal first. And if you notice under this movie, you should start getting a signal when you watch during this movie, which is now 4.5 hours, and there's many, many illustrations of people getting signals, so hopefully you'll pick it up while you're doing that. But if not, there's an entire page of signals, including a movie that plays automatically at the top, which is you know, a very good lesson with a lot of very serious people getting signals as the movie goes along, you know, and illustrating how they get signals. And then there are all these other movies about signals as you go down the page. This little tripod is wandering. I'm trying to hold this with my hand while I show this to you. So now, that's an example of some of the other things that are on here. This is our Twitter feed, this black thing, so that you can see what advanced people, because everybody who posts on this has been doing it for a while and, you know, are curing things. You know, a lot of these people have already cured their herpes or their other thing that they came to cure, their chronic fatigue syndrome and so on, and now they're, you know, this is just some things I cooked. It's not about cooking, okay? But anyway, there's, you know, lots of people just talking about what they're, you know, the more advanced things that they're doing. And these are all people who've cured many things in the past and probably never get the flu, as I don't. None of us ever get the flu anymore. We don't get sick in that way. That's pretty basic, not getting the flu. So if you're not ready for a password, the thing to do is just keep watching movies. And let me show you something about that. There are lots of movies to watch. Here's one that says I cured it in 10 minutes, and lots of people are interested in this. This is a popular movie. This woman is very experienced with this. She's been doing it about 15 years. And but see, if you go down on this movie to here where it says YouTube, and let's click on this. Let's go to the YouTube page, which is the same movie. See, you're on the same movie now. And right underneath it, there's something that says, let me just show this to you. Cure Drive is the account that the movie is in. And you see it says it has 352 videos. So the thing to do is to click on that and go in to the Cure Drive account with the 352 movies. And then, once you're there, subscribe to the account so that you can get back to it easily. And then there are other accounts too. This is not the only account. Some of them only have 25 movies. There's about 10 different accounts. But there's another one that has 250 something movies on it. This is deceptively simple and easy. As you watch these people in these movies, the cure is always instantaneous. And it gives the impression that it's over and you don't have to continue. You don't have to study. And then you get sick again because you didn't get deep enough and get everything. With that being said, I want to show you these women curing something instantly and leave you with the thought that it's probably not going to be what you expected it to be. I think when you watch these women, that's what you see here, that it's probably not going to be what you expected it to be, but it does cure, it probably will if you hang in there and stick with it. You probably will cure the thing you came to cure. Say, can I go to the 144th dimension? See if you get a signal on that. Can I go to the 144th dimension?
Can I go to the 144th dimension? Yes? I guess I can.
Go ahead and do it.
Okay, both of you go to the 144th dimension.
I'm taking myself to the 144th dimension.
Me too. No stopping for gas on the 8th dimension. I feel clear. I feel less interested in anything below the 144th dimension. Can we stay here all the time?
I know, exactly.